Okay, what does concealed carry mean to me? As far as like the concealed carry of a firearm in this relation to martial arts and how a real martial artist is supposed to represent himself. I see that, these laws in Illinois, they passed a law allowing the concealed carry of a firearm. They didn't they didn't pass a law about, allowing people to open carry. So basically, you're not supposed to let people openly know that you have a firearm. It's supposed to be hidden. And to me, that's like a martial artist that doesn't let people know that he practices martial arts, or a martial artist that doesn't boast about his abilities. Basically, like a martial artist that doesn't show off. A martial artist that's like not egoistic and prideful and competitive, and basically using the martial arts to kind of, you know, um, boost up his self-esteem by showing off his techniques and all this other stuff. So concealed carry is like somebody that is hidden, like he's a hidden lethal weapon, and that's what I see a martial artist is supposed to be, like a hidden lethal weapon. That people don't know that he's a martial artist, and that's what gives him a huge advantage when it comes to surviving a deadly encounter. And that's what gives an advantage for somebody who has concealed carry to survive a deadly encounter as well. Um, so that's what I see that it's representing. Open carry is more like, it's like a police officer, you know that he has a gun, and then basically people, like, they know who to watch out for, and like it's more of like an example of somebody who's boosting his ego, having the gun, having the badge, having like everybody demanding to give him respect, and it's kind of like the martial artist who, struts around with his black belt everywhere, showing off his black belt, and just making sure everybody's addressing him correctly, calling him the sensei or Sifu or whatever, and just like um, basically have going around with a huge ego trip, making him, putting himself on a pedestal above other people, and basically letting the whole world know that he is a great martial artist or a great fighter, or somebody that knows how to defend himself, and basically someone that's more highly egoistic. And this is not in accordance to the Tao or the Way. So that's kind of what I see is kind of like the resemblance between open carry and concealed carry, and like a real martial artist and somebody that's just basically on a huge power trip in the martial arts. Now, what happens with the real martial artist that ends up kind of being like a double-edged sword, or just kind of like, it's just inevitable, is that if you're a real martial artist and that's part of your profession, and that's what you do to make a living, is to teach martial arts, you have to identify yourself as a martial artist to the public, so then they know that you are a resource to go to in order to seek out somebody to teach them how to defend themselves from great danger, or how to develop into martial artists themselves. And that's why, real martial artists end up having to, in a way, identify themselves, to say that, hey, I am somebody who could train you. And then they end up having to use these labels such as Sifu, Sensei, Master, and in a way, identify to the public that they've reached a certain level, may it be a black belt or some sort of certificate, or whatever the case may be. And they may have to do certain demonstrations in order to show that they are proficient in what they do. And this is something that becomes a necessity for martial artists that plan to make a living and teach as a profession. um, and help other people learn to defend themselves from great danger. So there are real martial artists out there that really are hidden, and that's how it's pretty much supposed to be. Just like the concealed carry, you're not supposed to know who has the gun, and that's how a martial artist is supposed to be as well. You're not supposed to know who's the martial artist. You know, it's just something that you're supposed to keep within yourself, and you only will use the techniques when necessary. Just like you will only take out the gun and use the gun when necessary. It's not over ego. You don't take your gun out and shoot somebody because they hurt your feelings. It's only during times of great danger. And I see that that's what a real martial artist does. He only fights when he really is in great danger. It's not over ego reasons. And that's what I see. That's my view on how a real martial artist should conduct himself.